order, and we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Welcome to the Rockwood Board of Education meeting. The purpose of this meeting is to conduct the business of the district, hear reports about our progress, and listen to the community on important issues. We want to remind all of our visitors that we expect the audience to remain civil and respectful at all times as the board conducts its business. We appreciate your cooperation and that you took time to attend tonight's meeting. We would also like to acknowledge all of the staff, parents, and community members who helped to inform the community about Proposition S. It was truly a team effort led by Dr. Kane and Cabinet with over 100 presentations across the district and bolstered by so many individuals who poured their hearts and energy into the effort. Although it was not the outcome we had hoped for, please know that the board is proud of everyone who took the time to assist in the informational effort and those who took the time to cast a vote. This first order of business is approval of the agenda. Please, can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. The ayes have it, and the motion passes. Next is a motion to approve the Board of Education meeting minutes for October 16th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Again, hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Hearing none, the ayes have it, and the motion passes. Next is verification of unofficial election results with David Morrison. Thank you, David.
Good evening. On Election Day, voters in the Rockwood School District voted on Proposition S. The unofficial election results posted on November 4th from St. Louis and Jefferson counties show that Proposition S failed, with 11,413 voting no and 10,910 voting yes. That's 51.13% for no, 48.87% for yes. These results are not official until certified by the counties. We'd like to extend our thanks to everyone who took the time to vote on Election Day Tuesday, and also thank you to everyone who helped get the word out about Proposition S in the months leading up to the election.
Thank you. Thanks. Next is patron comments. And the comments should be directed at agenda-related items only. And I will read the introduction. During patron comments, citizens may address the Board of Education concerning agenda items. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes, and the patron comments period is limited to 30 minutes total. Combining time or giving your time to someone else to speak is not allowed. Only one speaker is allowed at the podium at a time. Please note that at the board's discretion, the board or superintendent may respond immediately to an issue raised during patron comments for clarification. However, our general practice is to respond to the comment at a later time via telephone call or written message if a response is needed. We have a table with a microphone ready so both the board and the audience may hear the patron comment clearly. If anyone who has submitted a comment card does not get the opportunity to speak, please know that you also have the opportunity to submit your comments in writing to the board at any time. The board appreciates that you took the time to come this evening, and we value both your input and your perspective. For your convenience, our 3-minute clock is ready, and so first we will welcome Jane Levy-Smith.
I want to express my support for Rockwood's homegrown teacher program. Rockwood has exceptional teachers, staff, and administrators across all areas and all departments in our district. The key to the success of this program is not just the experience, but our community and our professional community showing them the support and the values that are essential to participate in a school district. The continued support of this program enables our students to identify, gain practical experience before leaving our school district to pursue the required degrees. It's an exceptional use of funds and talents, and I hope many will continue to be encouraged to participate and choose education as a profession. There's a story from the fall campaign that is the epitome of Rockwood. It is a story about a teacher from Kerr's Mill and her spider plant and a young student's love for it. One plant, one teacher, one classroom, one child. This is Rockwood. This one small plant was able to spark, grow, and change the landscape for this learner. Ironically, this person and her plant and the enthusiasm was able to ignite this passion and growth in our students. So many of our teachers do this. Our district has thousands of stories like this across it every single day. The power of educators, staff, and administrators to impact our community is beyond the understanding of your average stakeholder. I am proud of Rockwood staff and educators who showed up to help our children grow each day. I am pleased to see the emerging dedication and education that these participants in the homegrown program receive. Maybe that's why the story moved me so much. Maybe I like plants. But over the last few days, our district employees have instilled more that hard work and dedication is a cause that is never lost, even when the results are not what we hoped for. We need to continue to create a Rockwood that these future educators want to return to, where our teachers can afford to live, work in all capacities for this district, and our support staff also. This program inspires many future educators and staff. Our entire community needs to do better to ensure Rockwood is competitive and a district that these children, our children, want to return and teach in. Homegrown educators is the best asset Rockwood has for all their stakeholders.
Thank you. Next is Gloria Grice. And Noah Grice will follow. So, Noah, you're going to be up next.
On the clock.
Thank
Good
you.
evening, members of the board, superintendent, and community members. My name is Gloria Grice. I'm a parent of 3 Rockwood school children, and I'm here tonight to speak in support of proposed policy 2101 regarding flag representation in Rockwood schools. Right now, our district has no clear policy about how or which flags are displayed in schools. That means each principal makes those decisions independently. And while that might sound flexible, it's created inconsistency and inequity across Rockwood. A student's sense of belonging should not depend on which building they walk into. Yet today, for some, it does. When representation changes as students move from one school to another, it sends an unintended message. You're welcome here, but maybe not here. The message affects a child's emotional well-being, their confidence, and their connection to our community. This proposed policy is simple and fair. If a flag represents a country recognized by the United Nations, whether as a member or observer, and as a student, parent, or teacher requests its display, the school should honor that request. This is not about politics or preference. It's about people. It's about our students and ensuring every student is valued. Our board policy 2100 already states that every student, regardless of race, creed, color, or cultural background, deserves equal opportunity and a school environment that is conducive to intellectual, emotional, and social growth. Displaying a flag that represents a student's heritage is a small act, but it carries a powerful message. You are seen, you are valued, you belong. Unfortunately, the lack of consistency has already caused harm. At Crestview Middle School, the Palestinian flag is missing, while it is displayed in other Rockwood schools. My efforts to resolve this began by asking the principal to raise the flag. I was denied because my son was not born in Palestine. The superintendent of the district subsequently backed this decision. Imagine walking through your school every day seeing the flags of so many nations, but not your own. That quiet omission speaks volumes, and it hurts. No child should have to feel unseen or excluded in the very place where they come to learn and grow. The pain is real and preventable. Other districts, locally and nationally, have already taken the step towards inclusion, and Rockwood has an opportunity to lead, to align our daily practices with our values of caring schools and every student. So tonight, I ask you to move Policy 2101 forward and let every flag that represents our students' identities hang proudly. Let's make our walls reflect the students who fill our classrooms and project what we say we believe, that every child belongs in Rockwood. Thank you.
Welcome, Noah.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Noah Grice. I am an 8th grader at Crestview Middle School. When I noticed the Palestine flag was missing, I took it into immediate action to inform my counselor, who told my principal, and the answer was no. Just no. I've talked to my Palestinian friends about this. I've talked to my non-Palestinian friends about this, and all I've heard is how it is unfair, unreasonable, and how we should feel equal. I have been told by staff members, principals, counselors that they care about me, that I'm cared for in the school, and that I should care about myself. And I respect that, and I don't ask much from them. But when I ask for one simple gesture, it is shut down and told no to. I am 50% Palestinian and 50% American, and yet the American flag is raised all the time, and the Palestine flag is raised none of the time. I wanna talk just for the kids behind me, kids ahead of me, that the flag should be raised. Thank you.
Thank you, Noah. Next is Amal. Thank you. Okay.
Hi, my name is Elena. I'm 7 years old. I'm in 2nd grade at Ellisville Elementary School. Every day I see the Palestine flag. That makes me so happy. Me and my friends hold the Palestine flag for Girl Scouts for the International Day. And that made me so happy. When I will go to Crestview Middle School, I will be so sad because I won't see the Palestine flag there. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome all. Amal. Did I say it correctly?
Nancy.
Oh, Nancy. I'm sorry.
Hi, my name is Nancy and I'm a 6th grader in Crestview. Hi, my name is Nancy and I'm a 6th grader in Crestview, and I'm Palestinian American. So I'm half Palestinian and half American. And I can't choose a side because they both make me who I am. And I'm proud to be Palestinian American. In my elementary school, Ellisville, we would have International Day where everyone would share their culture and their flag. And my station, my principal admired us and she liked our traditional dresses. And I felt proud and welcome there. And in Crestview, where I go now, the lunchroom has a lot of different countries hung up. And I looked through each one of them and I didn't find the Palestinian flag. And then a question came to my head. Am I welcome in my school? I love my school, I love my teachers, and I love all the principals and staffs. But to make the picture perfect, I would love to see the Palestinian flag there. Thank you for your time, and please consider it.
Thank you, Nancy. Next is Azra Ahmad.
Good evening, Board of Directors and Superintendent. I did vote yes for Proposition S, so I'm really disappointed. My children graduated from the Rockwood School District, Lafayette, and I love the mission and philosophy of Rockwood. So, the district aims to provide a safe, inclusive, and challenging learning environment. And by not raising the Palestinian flag, it's a contradiction to its mission, to its philosophy. We want everybody to feel included and loved. And by not raising that flag, it is sending a strong message to the children of our community. That's about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Homa Shaw. And I apologize, I am not good with names. You said it right. Did I? Yeah. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm here today to express my support for the policy 2101 that aims to have Rockwood School District schools display the national flags upon the request of a student, parent, or teacher, which represents their cultural identity. While I'm not Palestinian or of Palestinian descent, I appreciate the value of diversity in embracing the distinct characteristics of an individual. I think back to my time in public school 20 years ago when I was going to school in the Chicagoland area. You know, during that time, we didn't have any of the things that kids have these days in our schools. You know, my son attends Crestview Elementary. They talk about Ramadan. They have prayer accommodations there for kids. My daughter goes to Ellisville Elementary. She participated in a Ramadan video. My friend's daughter attends Marquette High School. She doesn't eat pork. She was taking a cooking class. She's like, can you accommodate this request? They said yes. So I didn't have these things growing up, and I really wish I did because it would have contributed to my sense of belonging in the school. So my point here today is while hanging a country's flag might seem trivial to some, it can be immensely meaningful to a child who identifies with that particular country. So the purpose of my presence here today is first of all, to thank Rockwood School District, especially Crestview Middle School, for accommodating so many of their students' needs. I really appreciate that, and you guys deserve credit for it. And I also would like to ask that Rockwood School District continue to keep an open mind about these kinds of issues. Thank you.
Thank you. Dahlia Badron.
Hello, good evening. I think raising the Palestinian flag in our school would make me feel so good inside because being Palestinian American is a big part of me. And if I see all the other flags in my school and not mine, it would not feel like a school that includes all students. Being represented as a Palestinian American would make me feel very included. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Basso Sepai? They say it. The word Safi. Okay.
My name is Bassel Safi. I'm a Palestinian American and a father for Azmi Safi, who is a Palestinian American as well. He came to me last year and he's like, we don't have the Palestinian flag in our school. And we tried to talk to a principal, but at the end of the day, one of the points that they mentioned is he was not born there, therefore he's not. In most of Arab countries, if you're born there, like I was born in Saudi, I don't have that Saudi nationality. I have the Jordanian passport, although I was not born in Jordan. So that point is not one of the factors that should be defining if you're a Palestinian or not, because it's based on where you come from and who you are. I'm not going to add more because a lot of points were already discussed. I'm going to give more time to other people behind me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Sophia?
Thank you guys for the opportunity to speak. As a previous Rockwood student and a previous Rockwood employee, as a substitute teacher, I get reading names can be hard.
Thank you so
I'm
much.
here to talk. I'm here to talk about Policy 2101 and why I encourage you guys to think about it moving forward. So if you look behind me, the posters on the wall talk about cultivating belonging, and we want to empower all in honoring dignity, and hanging the Palestinian flag is definitely a way we can do that for all the different students. I went to Ridge Meadows, I went to Selvage, I went to Marquette, and I had the opportunity to sub across a bunch of Rockwood schools. And I also got to take part in a lot of our culture fests. And in a lot of our culture fests, including the one at Crestview, there tends to be a Palestine booth due to a large body of Palestinian students we have. So it's really interesting to know that we can encourage them and we see them at these culture fests, but we won't acknowledge them and hang their flags in the cafeteria or wherever we see the other ones. We talk a lot about equity, diversity, inclusion, cultivating cultural competence, and in instances like these, it can seem performative when we accept it for a lot of other countries or other students, and we won't accept it for all. In a world that really tells students, and in this particular case, Palestinians, no, it's really nice to hear a yes, especially when we have a huge showing of it and a lot of students who are for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Rumi? Rami.
Good evening, members of the board. Appreciate you guys having us here today. My name is Rami Safi. I graduated from Marquette in 2017. Behind me is many of my family members, and across all of my family members, we have been a part of the Rockwood School District for over 25 years. Marquette, Eureka, Lafayette, you name it, we've probably been there. During my attendance at the Rockwood School District, expressing my diversity and cultural heritage was not easy. At the time, the idea of displaying a flag, the Palestinian flag, or sharing the background from where I came from, it wasn't existent due to society's view of Muslims or Arabs. I never conceived it. Allowing flags to be displayed indiscriminately across schools will allow no single student to feel outcasted compared to their peers. Diversity is a beautiful and strong point for the Rockwood School District. It should not be minimized on a case-to-case basis, dependent on which school that student is attending. Many of us are proud students and graduates from the Rockwood School District, and many of us have taken on degrees in engineering, doctors, nurses, whatever field you can think of, you name it. We were proud to take our education from the Rockwood School District to achieve those goals. In fact, 2 of us are veterans, we are prior service members, and during our time in the military, many of the individuals in the military accepted us as Palestinian Americans. By implementing this policy, we allow for diversity to grow in the Rockwood School District while simultaneously allowing students enrolled to feel both welcomed and accepted for their cultural backgrounds and their descent. In a time where society is leaning towards division, the Rockwood School District has an opportunity to encourage diversity and unity amongst its students, its staff, and its administration. I have a daughter on the way, and I hope one day when she does end up being in the Rockwood School District that she can look up in the cafeteria or the auditorium and see not only the American flag, but the Palestinian flag as well. Thank you guys for your time, and I hope you guys consider this policy.
Thank you. Messiah Nazarol?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to express my feelings about seeing my flag rise in our schools. I am Naya, an American girl with Palestinian roots. Both my parents were born in Jerusalem, and my sister was born in Ramallah. What I am requesting from you today is to be treated equally, like my other friends at school. I do feel misrepresented and not seen when we celebrate Heritage Week at school. I do feel sad and mad when I try to look at Palestine on the map or find it replaced by Israeli flag. I could not understand why it was so difficult for my teacher to explain this to me.
We are real people and not aliens who have well-known culture and beautiful heritage. Jesus was Palestinian, as you all know. The Palestinian flag is not a piece of cloth, but it holds the voices of the Palestinian kids who are still sacrificing their lives back home so the people around the world can hear their screams. I was raised to be kind and inclusive and treat people equally. I do also like to be treated as such. Thank you.
Thank you. Great job. Noor Safari? I keep messing up your last name. I'm so sorry.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for giving me the opportunity and time to speak today. My name is Noor Safi, and I'm a past student of the Rockwood School District, and I graduated from Eureka High School in 2023. I'm speaking in support of Proposal 2101. The purpose of showcasing flags and celebrating heritage isn't about birthright, it's about identity, culture, and belonging. Many students feel a deep connection to their family's roots, even if they've never lived in those countries, and that connection is real and deserves to be respected. When we tell a student that their background isn't valid or doesn't count, we're not just denying them something as simple as a flag, we're denying a part of their identity and who they are. And that's not a message that our schools should be sending. And especially as of recently, we've been seeing a bias in certain identities, such as the Palestinian one, being treated differently and singled out, such as in this instance. And that is an inconsistency that undermines our values of fairness and inclusiveness, and our district's commitment to diversity means ensuring that every student feels seen and valued and respecting. Allowing students to express their cultural identity isn't political, but it's something that's personal to many people. And I urge the board to move on with this proposal to forward and ensure that policies on cultural display and heritage celebrations are applied consistently, fairly, and with empathy. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Kenneth Pines.
Hi, good evening. I'm Ken Pines, and I've got one child that's still at Rockwood and two others that have graduated from Marquette. When looking at new policies and new policies are evaluated, such as 2101, I would like the board to be very clear on those policies moving forward. When displayed by itself, the meaning of a flag, can be, I apologize here. Ambiguous for some. It is a symbol representing identity and heritage. To others, it represents political beliefs. School is a place where students come to learn and grow, not a place to alienate students with a display they might interpret as hostile to them. I do not have an issue with any flag being raised side by side with other flags to represent the diversity of Rockwood student cultures, identity, and heritage. However, if such flags are displayed singularly in a classroom, and that could be any flag, it could be threatening and intimidating to students whose relationship is already defined by a teacher-pupil power imbalance. It would harm the ability for students to interact freely in that environment with their peers and their teachers. Uncomfortable or unwilling to engage with the teacher at all, possibly with the exception of foreign language classrooms and the flags represented by those countries for the language they are learning. Teachers and educators have every right to hold private opinions, but in the public classroom space, it is not in the best interest of all students to hang these flags. Changing the status quo by allowing flags in this way is an action that directly harms the academic and personal well-being of Rockwood students. As mentioned above, I urge the board to make policies very clear moving forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And our last speaker is Amanda Towerman.
Hi, thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Amanda Towerman. I have a son at Rockwood Early Childhood and a second grade daughter at Chesterfield Elementary. Chesterfield Elementary School has many flags already flying in their cafeteria, and I've wondered about the flag policy for some time. Why are flags other than the American flag being flown? If it's about support for people, can a gay pride flag be flown? Is it political? Would we allow a Nazi flag to be flown? Would you fly North Korea's flag? If that's a country that the United States recognizes, is there a reason that you would not allow a flag to be flown? Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Once again, thank you to everyone who came tonight and those who spoke. Really appreciate the time and effort. Next on the agenda, Superintendent and Board comments.
Thank you, President Midyet. Lafayette High School Band Director Brad Baylog, Stanton Elementary Librarian Jordan Espinosa, and LaSalle Springs Middle School Material Process Teacher Brian Tenney have been named 2025 Emerson Excellence in Education and Teaching Award recipients. The 3 Rockwood educators are among 108 teachers from across the St. Louis metropolitan area who are being recognized this year through the Emerson program. And they're being recognized as examples of truly outstanding educational excellence. The Emerson Excellence in Teaching Awards is now in its 36th year and is one of the St. Louis region's most established teacher recognition programs. This helps the St. Louis region show gratitude to educators who go above and beyond for their students and ultimately their school communities. Congratulations to these 3 outstanding educators, and thank you for being such great examples of the talented, caring, and truly focused teachers that make up the Rockwood School District. Let's give them a round of applause. A number of Rockwood elementary and middle schools earn recognition in the U.S. News & World Report's newest edition of Best K-8 Schools ranking. The publication published numerical rankings and data on nearly 47,000 elementary schools and more than 23,000 public middle schools from around the country. The 3 Rockwood elementary schools are also ranked in the top 3%, and the 3 middle schools are ranked amongst the top 5.7% of schools at their respective levels in Missouri, and were assigned a numerical ranking. At number 8 overall, Chesterfield Elementary School is ranked within the top 1% of all elementary schools in the state. Thank you to all of our students, our staff, and our school communities for their commitment to making Rockwood a fantastic place to learn and grow. There'll be some applause tonight. I think this definitely deserves that. A congratulations to this year's Rockwood School District Cornerstone Award nominees. We received 113 Cornerstone nominations for 84 different support staff members who demonstrate outstanding service to the Rockwood School District. The Cornerstone is our annual opportunity to support staff members who demonstrate outstanding service to the district. This includes bus drivers, nurses, our administrative assistants, secretaries, custodians, computer support personnel, classroom assistants, our special school district teachers, and all other Rockwood employees who serve our students and staff every day in our district. A selection committee will review each nomination and will select 10 recipients who will be honored next week. So stay tuned. Effective today, there is release that the Missouri Department of Elementary and Secondary Education has released the statewide annual performance reports for the 2024-2025 school year. APRs demonstrate the progress that districts are making toward meeting standards and indicators in the 6th version of the Missouri School Improvement Plan. The Rockwood School District scored a 90.0 on the 2024 APR, which is in the top 12% of the 553 Missouri school districts who were evaluated this past year. And that is an improvement of 2 percentage points from the district's 2023-2024 score. This is the second straight year that the Rockwood's APR has improved, and our mark ranks first out of 4 K-12 school districts in the state that have more than 18,000 students. For more information about APRs, the MSIP 6 process, please visit the DESE website, which is dese.mo.gov. And finally, this evening, I would like to actually take an opportunity to share some of my thoughts following the election of Tuesday's election results. I would agree with President Midyet, although these were not the results that we hoped for, we are absolutely committed to continuing to move our school district forward. There's a reason Forward Together is on that poster, on that wall. That is exactly what we are going to continue to do as a school district. It's not just a title for a strategic plan, it's what we do in our school district. Our focus is and has and will continue to be on our students and doing what is best for them and doing whatever it takes to ensure that they are all realizing their full potential. To be clear, this is a time for reflection as a school district. It's been less than 48 hours since we've received the results. This is time for us to reflect, but also to stay focused on what we do to ultimately meet the needs of our students and make sure we are in fact taking care of our staff. I am confident that the talent, the care, and the dedication of our staff, of our students, and our community members will continue to carry us to a very bright future. There's an old saying, right now what we need is a steady hand at the tiller. And that's exactly what we're going to do as a school district as we continue to move forward. I am also committed to working with our Board of Education to keep leading this exceptional school district forward and serving every single patron in every corner of our school district. Reflection and focus. We will keep moving forward as a school district.
Thank you.
Thank you, President Medya.
Other comments? Board comments?
Sure. Thank you. I'd like to just echo a couple comments here. During Dr. Kane's presentations during the Prop S lead-up, he often mentioned that we needed 50% plus one to win. Well, the unfortunate part about that is so did the other side. In this case, they won. The election was close, but we all need to respect the result of the voters. That's what we do, okay? In looking at this, there are some things I think that as a district we need to focus on, because I don't think we've gotten the message out clearly to our constituents. One of the ones I will point out to the community is our administrative staff. In the 2.5 years I have been on the board, I do not believe that staff to be bloated in any way, shape, or form, but clearly some members of our community do. So I would like to encourage the administration to bring that kind of information to the board and to the public so we can discuss what their roles are and how they contribute to our students. And as we've discussed before in previous sessions, how those positions, if we eliminated them, would actually put more work, more administrative work on teachers and less time in the classroom. But I don't want to put words in the administration's mouth. Let's get that information out in front of the public so we can talk about it. I don't think that one action would change the election results in any way, shape, or form, but I do believe better informing our public will ensure that as we make decisions going forward, we can all be confident we made them based upon facts. Thank you.
Thanks. Anyone else?
I would like to personally thank Dr. Kane. He lifted this district with well over 100 presentations to try to educate our community to get this prop passed. And alongside of him were cabinet members and staff members in those meetings trying to answer questions. And I just want to thank you. You took a lot of time away from your family to push forward for the students and the staff, and I just want to express my heartfelt thanks to you.
Not to mention the 7 a.m. coffee with Dr. Kane. Whoa. You know, I'm not sure there's enough Mountain Dew on those days.
There in fact is not, actually.
Yeah.
And I just want to quickly thank, too, I know many teachers and staff members were out knocking on doors, volunteering their time, and people who even don't have kids in this district anymore were volunteering. So it was really great to see the community come together for public education and the students. So thanks to everyone who gave their time.
One more thing. Thank you to the students that were brave enough to speak to the board. It's kind of scary to see all these old people up front of you. So it took a lot of bravery to speak to us. So thank you so much for coming tonight.
And once again, I apologize for the names. That's not a strength of mine. Anyone else? All right. If not, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda items as submitted.
So moved.
Any discussion about consent agenda items? Yes,
Yes,
Tammy.
I'd like to speak to item 8.12, public gifts to schools. We have a contribution this evening from CCL PTO in the amount of $25,870. And this is focus on to assist for our field trips and other programs to enhance learning at the CCL. So thank you to our community members and parents that do help to support our students in schools.
Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Hearing none, the ayes have it, and the motion passes. Next is 9.01, American Education Week Proclamation. And the motion is to approve the proclamation designating the week of November 17th through the 21st, 2025 as the Rockwood School District's annual observance of the National Education Association American Education Week. Ready?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. We'll talk to Tom, and then I believe someone is actually, Tammy, you're reading the proclamation. Yes. Okay.
Would you like
Talk
me
to
to
us,
speak
Tom.
first?
Yeah, go first.
Good evening, President Mignette, Vice President Romberg, Directors of the Board, and Superintendent Dr. Kane. My name is Thomas Cook, and I serve as the President of the Rockwood National Education Association. It is an honor to stand with you tonight as we join school districts across the nation in proclaiming American Education Week. American Education Week began in 1921, created in partnership with the NEA, to remind the public each year of the accomplishments and needs of public education and to ensure the support necessary to continue this work. That purpose is no less urgent today than it was then. Public education is one of the greatest democratic achievements in American history. Nearly 90% of America's children attend public schools, including here in Missouri. Public education helped build the middle class, expanded opportunity, raised literacy and workforce skill, and fueled the innovation that made America a global leader. Public schools have shaped presidents, Supreme Court justices, Nobel Prize winners, civil rights leaders, astronauts, inventors, authors, and global cultural icons. These people who have changed America for the better came from public schools. And the students sitting in Rockwood classrooms right now are the next generation who will shape what America becomes next. And in Missouri, public education is not just a tradition, it is a constitutional right. Article 9 of the Missouri Constitution states that a general diffusion of knowledge and intelligence is essential to preserving the rights and liberties of the people, and that the state shall maintain free public schools. When Missouri's framers wrote those words, they were responding to the very real dangers of their time: education available only to the wealthy, schooling controlled by private or sectarian interests, and entire groups of children excluded simply because of circumstance. They had seen what inequality in education could do to a society, and they knew a functioning democracy required citizens educated not by chance or charity, but by right. Public education was placed in the Constitution to prevent inequality from becoming permanent, and to build a system strong enough to safeguard liberty across generations. Protecting public education today is not new work. It is the responsibility the framers carried then, and now rests with us. And while all did not mean all in Missouri in those early years, it is precisely because of that history that we must continue expanding the promise public education was meant to hold. Here in Rockwood, we believe every child can achieve at high levels. We believe in the next generation's capacity to solve big challenges, strengthen our communities, and continue building a better nation. Public education is a public service. Our work is grounded in the public good, not private profit. We exist to serve every child who walks through our doors, and our success is measured by their growth, their belonging, and their future. Many of Rockwood's educators and supports professionals live right here in this community. We raise our families here, we shop in the same stores, we stand in the same voting lines. We are not outsiders, we are partners, dedicated to caring for our community's children. Public schools take all children, every need, every disability, every language, every challenge, every brilliance, no exceptions. Because we take all children, Public schools are where America learns to live together in a pluralistic democracy. Horace Mann, often called the father of American public education, wrote that education, beyond all other devices of human origin, is the great equalizer of the condition of men. Mann led the Massachusetts Board of Education in the mid-1800s and fought to create a system of free, universal, non-sectarian public schools, professionally taught, publicly funded, accessible to every child regardless of wealth, religion, or background. The core principles he championed still matter today. That education strengthens democracy, lifts communities, reduces inequality, and protects the common good. People before us fought to build a system meant to lift all, not just some. We must continue that fight. We cannot allow their work to be undone or forgotten. None of this work happens alone. Families support learning at home. Bus drivers greet our students at dawn. Teachers, paras, and librarians shape minds. Counselors, nurses, and social workers protect well-being. Custodial and food service staff keep our buildings safe and healthy. Administrators and board members provide the support required for the system to function. Every role matters. Every role contributes to the conditions where children thrive. A strong public school district benefits more than just students. It strengthens every part of community life: property values, workforce development, small business vitality, community stability, and long-term community success. We also know what happens when public schools are weakened or neglected. Opportunities shrink, positions go unfilled, momentum erodes. We cannot allow that future here. Rockwood would not be Rockwood without strong public schools. This district is a shared common good that binds our community together. There are moments that test our resolve, but those moments also clarify purpose, and our purpose remains the same: ensuring every student has access to a world-class public education. Tonight, as we celebrate American Education Week, let us recommit to the work ahead. Let us choose conversation over assumption. Let us choose collaboration over fracture. And let us choose the public good over anything that would divide or diminish it. The Rockwood Promise calls us to cultivate belonging, empower all, honor dignity, and embrace innovation. We will never waver in our mission to ensure all students realize their potential. We will never stop defending the dignity, value, and respect of every educator and every student. And we will not give up on public education because our students deserve our unwavering commitment. Public education has always been the guardian of democracy, and we, all of us, are its stewards now. Let us choose to protect it. Let us choose to strengthen it. Let us choose to fight for it together.
Thank you. Well said, Tom. As a longtime educator, it's my honor to read the proclamation this evening. Whereas public schools are the backbone of our democracy, providing young people with the tools they need to maintain our nation's precious values of freedom, civility, and equality, and whereas by equipping young Americans with both practical skills and broader intellectual abilities, schools give them hope for and access to a productive future. And whereas education employees, be they substitute educators, custodians, nurses, teachers, bus drivers, or librarians, work tirelessly to serve our children and communities with care and professionalism. And whereas schools encourage community, bringing together adults and children, educators and volunteers, business leaders, and elected officials in a common enterprise, now therefore we, the members of the Rockwood School District Board of Education, do hereby proclaim November 17th through the 21st, 2025 as the 104th annual observance of the National Education Association's American Education Week.
Thank you, Tammy. Again, the motion is to approve the proclamation designating the week of November 17th through the 21st, 2025 as the Rockwood School District's annual observance of the National Education Association American Education Week. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The ayes have it, and the motion passes.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Tom. Next is 9.02, Welcome Home Rockwood Program Presentation with Dr. Jen Martin. Thank you, Jen. You had a good lead-in before.
Good evening, everyone. President Mignette and Dr. Kane, Mrs. Sadowski, and ladies and gentlemen of the board. My name is Jennifer Martin, and I have the privilege of speaking to you about a very special program in our district called Welcome Home Rockwood. All right. Welcome Home Rockwood is a Grow Your Own program, and Grow Your Own programs, such as Welcome Home Rockwood, align with the priorities of the Missouri Department of Education and the Missouri Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, specifically to prepare, develop, and support educators to ensure an effective teacher in every classroom and an effective leader in every school. Welcome Home Rockwood fosters a culture of collaboration between the district, higher education, and communities, serves as a workforce development initiative, and instills community pride when students return to teach here at Rockwood. The purpose of Welcome Home Rockwood is to spark student interest in the education profession, allow students to explore the career pathway, set students up for success in their post-secondary education programs, establish professional mentorships with practicing educators, and invest in our district as well as our future teachers. There are several benefits for students who participate in the Welcome Home Rockwood program. First is a monthly mentorship. This mentorship is aligned with a current practicing Rockwood teacher. Ideally, they meet at a time that is mutually beneficial for both of them. This could be on the phone, this could be via a Google Meet or another virtual connection, or it could even be in person if the student is local or back home for a break. And so these ongoing meetings take place about once a month, and it gives an opportunity for the student in their college years to stay connected to Rockwood. And as they continue to further their pathway down their educational experience, and they start exploring practicums and observations and other things that they're wanting to do in the district, they have a practicing teacher to answer any questions they may have about those, the practicality of those experiences, and hopefully entice them to come back and share some of those experiences here with us. Participating in this program also comes along with a guaranteed student teaching placement. And so if you are a former Rockwood graduate and you are part of this program, if you would like to come back and student teach here in our district, we guarantee that we will place you here for that experience with one of our amazing Rockwood teachers. And then last but not least, and we haven't had enough kids go through the program yet to get to this point, but we promised them a screening interview. And so we know interviewing for your first job, it can be difficult and somewhat intimidating. And so they just reach out to me. We schedule that online interview, and I not only will engage them in the interview, but offer them feedback on their resume, on their cover letter, and on their interview process. Last year, we had our first ever Future Educator Signing event. And I have to tell you, out of all of last year, it was probably my favorite day in the district. And if you have the opportunity to join us this year, I would encourage you to do so. So students who are going to graduate in the class of 2025 were invited, if they are pursuing a pathway in education, to come to the administration building where they received a Future Educator certificate. And we liken this to like a signing for students who are going off to play sports in college, okay? And so we welcome them in with a grand proclamation of reading this certificate and their particular university that they're committing to. Many of our students brought their family and their friends along with them. They came in, they signed their certificate and their pledge to pursue this pathway, and they left with a wonderful t-shirt that they got to wear at their university, and it was a wonderful event. So they got to come in, receive their certificate, pose in front of the Rockwood banner with their family and friends for a photograph, collect their t-shirt, and then most importantly for the Welcome Home Rockwood program, they left with information on how to apply to continue this partnership. So part of our outreach efforts in this short period of time have been pretty substantial. In the 2025 school year, the Welcome Home Rockwood Committee awarded 11 scholarships to Rockwood graduates ranging from $250 to $2,000. The year prior to that, we awarded 0. So that was pretty phenomenal. The number of students participating in the Welcome Home Rockwood program increased from only 2 students in 24-25 to 19 and counting students this school year. So we're really excited about the emphasis, the awareness, and the participation in this program. So what do our Welcome Home Rockwood mentors say? I couldn't bring them all here with me tonight, so I just asked them to share a few thoughts. This is Kim Lackey, and Kim is a teacher at Rockwood Summit High School, and she's been a long-time contributor to all types of Grow Your Own efforts here in our district. And as a Welcome Home mentor, she says, I love participating in the Welcome Home Rockwood mentoring program because it gives me a chance to share my passion for teaching with others who are excited about entering the teaching profession and making a difference for their students. On this slide, we have another mentor. This is Megan O'Donnell. She is a teacher at Lafayette High School. She's featured in this photo with, at the time, her student from, I think this was prom. And since then, he is a graduate and now her mentee. So they've fostered that relationship and continued it. And Megan says, mentoring Welcome Home Rockwood students is absolutely invaluable because it creates a full circle opportunity to shape our next generation of educators. This mentorship not only strengthens the bond between past and present educators, but it also ensures that the values and best practices of the school district are passed down. This has allowed me to contribute to building a more invested, knowledgeable, and passionate teaching workforce, all while inspiring former students to return to a district that nurtured their own love of learning. And so wouldn't be complete unless I asked a student what they thought. So this is Mallory Sell, and she's a 2025 Rockwood graduate. And Mallory says that she strives to be a future Rockwood teacher for several reasons. I was fortunate to grow up in this incredible district and know how much the teachers across the district care about their students. Rockwood shaped who I am today, and I want to give back in the same way that the community to the community that supported me. I've seen firsthand how strong the educational bonds are and the school spirit that exists across the community. I want to continue that tradition by impacting future students' learning mindsets. I want to help all students feel included and have a sense of belonging and reach their goals just like my teachers did for me. Thank you, Rockwood. So if you are interested in becoming part of the Welcome Home Rockwood program, we have a few pieces of eligibility that you need to consider before applying. First, are you interested in pursuing a job in the field of education? If the answer is yes, then you might be interested in this program. If you are a current Rockwood High School student or a graduate and you are still in your college program, you are also eligible for this program. And if you have a willingness to serve as a role model for students, that is the third and final requirement for eligibility. So how do students participate or get involved with this program? There's a simple application process. It can be found on the district's website. If you go to the district's home site under the Human Resources tab, there is a separate box specifically for the Welcome Home program where you'll find all kinds of information similar to what I've shared today. But most importantly, at the bottom is a little button that says, fill out a Welcome Home Rockwood application form. I will receive a notification that you have filled it out no matter what time of year, and I will communicate with you based on where you are in your program. So if you're currently a senior in high school, I will let you know the next time we'll talk. Usually seniors in high school are interested in scholarship opportunities, so we dialogue a little bit about that. But we've also had some teachers participate, just join most recently, that have been postgraduates for 2 to 3 years, and they're interested in connecting with a mentor and organizing that student teaching placement. So I would like to thank you for your time and listening to this program. I certainly would entertain any questions you may have about Welcome Home Rockwood.
Thank you. I do have one question. You mentioned that the eligibility pieces. What is the eligibility for the mentors? How do
So-
they apply?
For the mentors, it is a little bit of a call and response right now. Our committee has been working as a goal to increase the number of mentors as we've increased the number of students who are requesting mentorship. Feedback that I've received from students is that while they love connecting with maybe a favorite high school student, if they are pursuing maybe an early childhood program or an elementary program, they're asking to be placed with somebody that's currently practicing at that
That would be my
level.
next question, is if
Yeah.
do you try to match them up?
So
that
I
they-
am trying to match them up. The committee suggested this year that we lean on our nationally board certified staff because they have done a lot of reflection on their practice and usually are interested in mentoring. And so I've been putting some all calls out to certain staff members based on certification, and that's been very successful. Yeah.
How do we communicate to students to apply for this program?
So, I feel like last year being my first year in the district, I've learned quite a bit on how timelines work and how the importance of certain communication. So obviously it's on the website. Last year I tried to do a lot of outreach with our high school counselors and administrators to make sure that they knew the new life that was bred into this program and the excitement around it. And so I've worked with our coordinator of counseling to try to say, okay, what other avenues have we not considered? And so we're pushing out information. I asked some of the students to do announcements to let them know. I personally have gone and visited a couple of the high school classes, so sometimes during ACT Lab, a high school might have a particular program for aspiring educators, and so if they invite me, I will go and give my spiel and show them exactly how to sign up. So I think it's a little bit of everything. I don't think we could over-communicate this opportunity enough. But at the same time, I'm super excited about how just these small steps made such a big impact in just 1 year's time.
I think the word will catch on.
I hope so. I think the educator signing event was really powerful for a lot of the students. One of the participants said that they commented for their child, this is a day they will never forget. And I think that really summed it up. So I'm excited to continue these efforts.
Have you considered the 8th grade career fairs where you could plant that seed by having a booth or something and start talking to them early?
The committee has not talked about that, but I do participate in the 8th grade career fair, so I love that suggestion. Thank you.
What about recent graduates? Freshmen, sophomores out there who are pursuing education degrees, came from Rockwood, but we just don't know it.
As far as their ability, like reaching them, outreach
Yeah.
community, I'm not entirely sure how to best go about strategically reaching them other than through our university partnerships. So one of the things that I did last year was invest a lot of time in trying to coordinate and build some partnerships between university representatives and the Rockwood School District. Some of those have resulted in tuition discounts for our current Rockwood employees, which is phenomenal. But it also gives me the opportunity to show up at job fairs and to have other representatives within the district to represent Rockwood at some of the job fairs. So we are slowly building a network of connection with those leaders in the university institutions. I would say from the institutions that we tend to hire most prevalently from, those pathways have been established. And so we're looking to continue to foster more of those partnerships. And I think that could be a way to be a little bit more specific and targeted in our approach.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Could a possibility be in our postgraduate survey that we send out? That they're, I don't know. Okay, just a link or at least something, because it's anonymous, isn't it, the survey?
Are the mentors compensated for their time in any way, and are there guidelines as to kind of how much time they spend?
Thank you for asking that question. Yes, there is an opportunity for the mentors to be compensated. Not every mentor chooses to be compensated. So last year, we were the recipient of the Grow Your Own grant from the state of Missouri. This year, those funds are no longer available, and so our budget has been cut in half, and so our committee was charged with trying to reprioritize the ways in which we want to support. And so as they built the budget, they left a large portion of the budget there to compensate mentors, because we think that's important to compensate them for their time. But the wonderful educators that work with us oftentimes say, I'm not in this for that. I'm in this to grow kids and to grow our district. And so sometimes they will give back that money as a donation to the scholarship fund. And so any unused funds go back to the scholarship fund.
Thank you. Great.
Thank you.
Don't go away.
I'm not going away.
All right. Next is 9.03, adoption of the 27-28 school year calendar, first reading. And the motion is to postpone motion is to postpone the approval of the proposed 2027-28 school calendar to the Board of Education meeting scheduled for November 20th, 2025. Any discussion? Okay. If not, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Say no. Hearing none, that motion passes. Now thank you.
Thank you. So I also have the privilege of sharing the first reading of the 27-28 academic school calendar with you. So I'm going to dive right on in. Our district calendar committee has met this fall to review information and to develop the 27-28, I always have to cheat and look down so I don't say the wrong year, the 27-28 school calendar. This committee is comprised of parents, staff, and administrators from across the district. We do meet annually, typically in the fall, to review and develop the school year, and traditionally we have always worked about 2 years in advance. So the 26-27 school year calendar has already been approved and ready to go, so we're looking for that following year here. The work of the calendar committee is pretty multifaceted. We start with the presentation of parameters, as there are a lot of guidelines that we need to ensure that we are following. I also try to work to give the committee something to respond to. So I present them with a variety of drafts that they could potentially consider that all might work within those parameters. But I also provide them with a blank calendar, so if somebody has a different idea, those voices can be heard. So this year, because we made revisions to the 25-26 calendar this is the first year of implementation, there weren't a lot of changes moving forward. We haven't had a chance yet to really survey to see that is this calendar meeting all of the needs that we were aiming to meet. And so as a result, I surveyed the committee and I asked them to look at the past priorities and to determine if those priorities continued to be the same moving forward. And so that is the data set that we used as we talked about strengths, opportunities, and questions and collecting feedback. In this process, we do come to a consensus with our committee, and then following that consensus, the calendar is reviewed by Superintendent's Cabinet. If there are additional if there is additional feedback that is offered, relevant stakeholders are then sought out for feedback. That could be through a survey, that could be through a meeting or a presentation from a member of the calendar committee. There are some established parameters for the calendar creation that we do need to adhere to. The first one is the Missouri Revised Statute 171.031.1. This states that each local school district may set up its opening date each year, which date shall be no earlier than 14 calendar days prior to the first Monday in September. So with this legal guideline, that does limit us in some of the flexibility that we have in first semester, particularly when Labor Day falls late in the calendar. In the 27-28 school year, Labor Day does indeed fall late in the calendar, which makes it very tricky to adhere to all of the other priorities, but we have found a way. House Bill 604 says schools may not start earlier than 14 days prior to Labor Day. We do have a minimum of 1,044 instructional hours to meet. We do, as a district, value a minimum student number of attendance days as 173. We also do talk about presidential and midterm elections and what would be best for student learning and professional learning on those days. And just as a reminder, our teachers do have a 187-day contract, which includes 4 professional learning days, 2 conference compensation days, teacher work days, and paid holidays. All are represented in this 27-28 calendar. There we go. All right, so this slide shows you the first semester of the 27-28 calendar. School will start for teachers. Teachers will return on August 17th. Students will start following on August 23rd. This first semester does include 2 professional learning days. Those are highlighted by the yellow boxes on October 4th and also on November 2nd, which happens to be an election day. We also have 4 high school late starts. Those dates are represented by the mauve colored boxes. Teacher Conference Compensation Day in this recommendation is paired with a Professional Development Day. So for students, that means, or for families, that means a little bit of an extended fall break. So they would go to school through Friday, October 29th. They'd have the weekend, and then students and teachers would be off on November 1st, and teachers would return on November 2nd for their professional learning. So students would return November 3rd. The semester will end on December 21st with a half-day student attendance day, indicated with the green box. And first semester, we were able to make sure we had 80 student contact days, which is our desired number, minimum number of student contact days to ensure that all curriculums can be taught. As we look into the second semester, you will see that there are 8 days of winter break. Ideally, the committee always strives to do 2 full weeks at winter break based on feedback that we have received. This committee chose to not extend the end of the school year past Memorial Day. They prioritized students ending prior to Memorial Day as a higher priority than 2 weeks of winter break. And so that's why we have 8 days of winter break in this calendar. We also have 2 professional learning days represented in the yellow squares, January 14th and February 18th. Again, we have 4 high school late starts represented on those mauve colored boxes. Our Teacher Conference Compensation Day does take place outside of spring break, which has been a priority for the committee based on feedback. We did push for this school year our spring break back by 1 week. The reason for that is largely in collaboration with high school sports. So our current reality, what we're finding is that frequently students who play those spring sports don't get a full spring break because the number of required days of practice that they have to have before competition usually collides with spring break. And so there is a little bit of a conversation across fellow school districts that we all move to that week of March 20th. And so we have aligned to some other school districts in this regard. What our ADs have said is that students would be able to get those practice days in that are required by MISA before spring break, would potentially be able to have a real spring break, and then competition could start following spring break. So we think that's definitely a great move for the best interest of our students. We also have another extended break for students here in April. Our committee feedback has always kind of talked about April being a very long month for students and for staff. And so we, as I mentioned before, we have kind of a shortened first semester because Labor Day is so late in the calendar. We actually wound up with 174 days, and we only needed 173. That provided us with 1 extra day to say, we're not going to be in session. So we placed that day on Friday, April 14th, and then we followed that Monday with the Teacher Conference Compensation Day, providing a long 4-day weekend for students and for families. Well, actually for staff as well, teaching staff. The semester will end on May 26th, which is prior to Memorial Day, and this semester has 93 student contact days. So So the design of the 27-28 calendar proposal achieved the following goals. We met all legal parameters. We maintained 173 student attendance days. We included 4 professional learning days embedded throughout the school year. Our first semester ends prior to winter break. We continued to focus on timely breaks for students. We also provided consideration for the placement of those conference comp days, and students continued to end their last day of school prior to Memorial Day. I certainly welcome any questions you may have.
I get asked a lot, how do you get on the calendar committee?
So usually I start by asking folks who have previously been on the committee if they'd like to continue to serve, and that helps us to better understand how many people are wanting to return, how many people are wanting to let go of that position. I do work in collaboration with the RNEA because we do have a requirement of a certain representation. So I do collaborate with Tom quite a bit when we're reaching out to try to explore new teachers. If anybody sends a request and says, hey, I would like to be on board, I save that email till the next time that we meet, and then as we have an opening, I reach back out to see if it's still a good fit for them.
How about parents?
So in the past, I believe the district has worked closely with the communications department and the PTO exec boards to see if we could reach out and gather some interest there. And so that is one way that we have continued to connect with parents for this committee. I've also had parents reach out with questions about the committee, and we've just invited them to join in. So yeah, we're either way, but we do want to be mindful that we have a limited amount of time that we need to make a lot of decisions, and so we want to be very focused with our work. Yeah. Any other questions?
I believe we have voted on this motion.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you, Jen. The next motion is to postpone the approval of the proposed 2027-28 early childhood preschool calendar until November 20th, 2025 Board of Education meeting.
So moved.
Second.
And discussion we'll have with Dr. Harrod.
Good evening. So the 27-28 preschool calendar is going to outline the schedule that our teachers will follow for the 27-28 school year. The last 3-4 years, we've been able to come under alignment with the K-12 calendar, which is a big benefit for our families who have kids in other buildings in the district. So very similar to what you're going to see in the K-12 calendar. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Yeah, very much so. Looks good.
All right, thank you.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Say no. The ayes have it, and that motion passes. Okay. Next is the motion to approve the review of policy 5220, safety standards and requirements.
Second.
And any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. The ayes have it, and that motion passes. Next is 9.06. Problem issue need, or what we call PIN, new policy request. And the motion is to approve the PIN request for a new policy as submitted.
Second.
Okay, discussion. All those in favor, please say aye.
We have
Oh,
a
we
couple
have-
comments here.
Okay, good.
So
Sorry.
as we talk about this as a board, I kind of had 4 things that rattle through my brain. One of the challenges is the impact when we create a policy. So We may have some schools that are doing some things, some schools are not that are doing some things. And when we as a board create a policy, normally that means we're picking something that's normally not on the far edge, but it's normally more in the middle. And therefore, by definition, we are going to cause some schools to stop doing something they're doing. Now, that's not automatic. That might not happen, but that is a potential. The second question I have is, how inconsistent are we today? So what are we doing today? Third, the request here, I believe, was to look at a UN approval policy. Normally, I would think as a government agency ourselves, we would be going towards the United States recognized states. That causes a problem, since if we just go off of a lot of the representation today, Palestine is not a state recognized by the United States. But if we go off of the UN list, nor is Kosovo, Taiwan, or North Korea. So those two lists are not in sync. So either way, if we pick the UN, we're going to leave off some people. If we pick the United States list, we're going to list off some people. And there are some countries that aren't recognized by either entity. And while I understand the belonging of seeing your flag on a Heritage Day or whatever, we also have to understand that, as one of the speakers mentioned, while some people look at flags as cultural, some people do look at flags as political. So are we offending somebody by putting one flag or another out there? And so as we look at a board policy, those are some of the things we're going to have to wrestle with if we decide to put a policy out there, to find out where's the common ground we want to be at as a district. So, board members, if you have views on this, being on the policy writing committee, need to know your input, need to know what you're thinking if we want to do something here.
Just a clarification, if we say that we want to move forward with looking into a policy, are we then committing ourselves to creating a policy, and it's just a matter of what that policy looks like, or are we committing to having a policy drafted that then we can look at and decide whether or not we want to move forward? So I just want to know what I'm voting on.
Yeah, the latter. So the process here would be, if the board said yes, we want to look into the policy, the policy committee would start writing a draft of a policy. The board could have the option to want to wordsmith that for 20 meetings, or they could, at the very first session review of it, say, nah, never mind. That's still all within the board scope of where it wants to go. It does not commit us to even having a policy. What we would be voting on here right now is, do you want the group of people who are on the policy writing committee to start writing something that we could then react to?
Is it starting to write something, or is it starting to do the research?
Well, both. Normally what we would come back to the board with is, here's a draft, what are you guys thinking? What's the reaction? But we'd have to do some research probably to solve some of the questions I just talked about, and even the committee internally talking about how do they feel about the different questions I just raised.
I think you're something that really resonated with me that you just said was what's one of the things I really would like to know that I don't think I really know is what is the current reality within Rockwood. I know we talked a little bit about the current reality as far as policies and other schools and that sort of thing, but what is current practice? What's current practice at the different levels and also at the different schools? Because I think that for me that makes a difference in deciding whether or not we want to look into this and go down this road. How consistent or inconsistent are we? And then I think we also need to consider the fact that there aren't a lot of these policies in school districts in Missouri, anyway. And so, you know, it would be, unfortunately, we wouldn't have the benefit of looking into, 25 policies from districts throughout the state. So, but thank you. I just wanted to get that clarification.
My understanding is that there's not a policy for this area in Missouri. Is that
That's correct.
in a Missouri school district?
I think there's practices in other school districts, but we were not able to find other policies, formal board policies.
As it relates to flag representation
Yeah.
policy, that is correct.
Yeah.
And I think that might be also some good information to have, even if they're not policies, to, see how varied is not only within Rockwood, but how varied is the actual practice. And I know we can't take the time to look into 500 plus school districts, but if we could maybe sort of have a sampling of what's going on, I think that would be helpful information as well.
Well, that would be one alternative as a board, is we could say, okay, we'd like to know what are we doing today across our district? What are some of the neighboring districts do? And then revisit the question after we have some information.
That was just going to
That
be
was
my
my
question.
That was
Could we
my
do
question.
some?
If we could table it until we have more
tabling it,
information.
Looking into some of these
Yeah.
questions and then having it back on the agenda.
Do we need to vote on this motion and then make another motion, or can we amend it?
Parliamentarian?
Yes.
Table it.
Uh-oh.
You can just leave this motion, Lai, and somebody just make a motion to table it, and then it'll come up at another meeting.
Okay.
Whenever you decide to do that.
That's because of you calling on the board president in the other session. By the way, when she had her candy in her mouth, she killed your mic.
I move to table this motion.
And I would second that.
Upon gathering more research about practices across Rockwood.
Both policies and regulations that exist.
And practices. Right. Okay. Any further discussion?
Just by default, if there are no other districts that have a policy, a flag representation policy in place, and by default, you're going to look or ask for a review of what practices look like, you can almost assume there's going to be a great deal of variance in terms of what those practices in fact look like. So just want that to be clear before. I understand the direction being provided by the motion, but just want there to be clarity of what that in fact is going to look like.
I think I'd be me personally, I'm more interested in what are we doing today in Rockwood. All right? Because we heard about one, school chain here, but what are all the other elementary schools doing? Just so we have an understanding of what's current practice, one of the things I'd like to make sure we understand, I'd like to make sure that if we do something, we understand what we're giving or taking away.
Yeah. Understood.
Yeah. We don't want to cause unintentional consequences
Right.
by doing something. And
so I will say I appreciate our speakers tonight for talking to us about what appears to me to be a little bit some inconsistencies in practice.
Yeah.
All right.
Can I also say one thing?
Yes.
That I'm so proud of all the students coming out to advocate for themselves. That takes a lot of courage. That is not something I could have done as a student, but as a teacher, I know how much hard work you guys put into those speeches, and coming up and sitting right there is not easy. So thank you guys. You guys are what makes Rockwood strong. So thank you for coming out.
Very articulate. Thank you.
In a very appropriate manner.
Very appropriate.
And hopefully we might be able to welcome a few of you home. Just my little plug.
Jen? Oh, she left. Oh, no. Okay. All right. So are we ready to take a vote then? Okay. All those in favor, please say,
We're voting to table this until we get data.
the motion is to table this to gather more information. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. The ayes have it, and that motion passes. Okay. Oh, we're at the favorite time of the night. Proposed agenda for the November 20th, 25 Board of Education meeting is up on the screen. And future agenda presentations and events to attend. Tomorrow, the Veterans Day celebrations begin. I believe I'm going somewhere at 10 o'clock tomorrow. And then Monday and Tuesday, I mean, it's a lot.
Actually started this morning
Oh, it did?
at
Oh.
Eureka, so it's
Okay.
it's not a day. It's very, very busy, yes.
Okay. So it's a great opportunity to be in our schools and to celebrate Veterans Day. Any other? Okay, if not, this meeting is adjourned.